Let's speak now to Khalid Mustafa Medani, who joins us from Montreal in Canada. He's a Sudan affairs analyst. Welcome to the program. So the temporary ceasefire appears to be holding. Your views on that, and why would this ceasefire be any different to others?
I think the primary difference is that a lot of pressure was put upon both sides, both by the United States and Saudi Arabia. They wanted very much to evacuate, particularly American citizens, or at least essential staff, and those American citizens that the Americans feel that they can evacuate. There have been a lot of debate and criticism of the Biden administration, actually, with respect to the American citizens that were left behind. That's the case in many countries. And so Secretary Blinken, the Secretary of State of the U.S., actually personally put pressure on both sides to implement this three-day ceasefire. It is quiet in many parts of the neighborhoods, but there are parts of Khartoum where their ceasefire has not been sustained.
I do wonder what concessions were made, and also as these evacuations take place, what will that mean for any further pressure that can be put from the international community on the generals in Sudan that are fighting?
That's the central question at the moment, I think. Secretary Blinken's statement indicated that he's setting up a committee of international partners, other regional actors and international actors, countries, to implement not only the ceasefire, but sustain it, and also try to find a resolution for the conflict. This is the first statement since the conflict began where the Secretary of State of the United States has actually suggested and indicated that they may be putting pressure to bring these two generals to the table. It's a pretty vague statement. There are no details in terms of how he plans to go about that with his international partners. If that is not implemented, and if the plan is not detailed further, unfortunately, it would appear that there would be an abdication for the moment of intervention that would seek a political resolution, which is, of course, the only way to stop the violence ultimately. We'll have to see how rigorous this kind of posture on the part of the United States is with respect to not only implementing the ceasefire and evacuating foreign nationals, but also putting pressure to try to resolve this political crisis.
Is there really interest, Khalid, to resolve this political crisis? I just ask because we hear so much, and many of my guests talk about just how many foreign actors are involved in Sudan. Yeah, I guess that is the question. Is there real interest to stop this?
I think that my feeling at the moment, the coherence of the different actors with respect to Sudan, as you put it, is certainly a problem. Each actor has separate interests, whether it's strategic or whether it's economic and financial. However, I do think that there are two camps. I would venture to say. One of them is the camp of the United States and its allies, Saudi Arabia, to a great extent, the United Arab Emirates, and of course, the European Union and the United Kingdom. And on the other side, there, of course, Russia and perhaps China, but certainly Russia that stands in a different camp. My feeling is as this crisis escalates and the danger of spillover continues, particularly in the Red Sea region and also around the borders of Libya and Chad, that the United States would find it in its interest to try to stabilize the situation. As the crisis deepens and influences and affects the U.S.'s role in the region and, frankly, their rivalry with Russia in the region, I think there will be more rigorous efforts to bring their allies together to implement a more coherent plan.
Khalid Mustafa Medani, speaking to us from McGill University in Canada. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate your analysis.